Hollyweird and Tyla. Let's talk about this. We're going to be talking about Hollyweird and Tyla. Tyla, who is very famous now because of the song she came out with called Water, a South African singer who is only 21 years of age, by the way, who has now become extremely popular for contributing to the TikTok machine, yet another popular dance that everybody is going to try to do. Now, I specifically want to talk about the entertainment industry and Hollyweird. It's been a while, but this situation is one that I truly feel is great to reiterate some of the things that I've spoken about historically on this channel with regards to how the entertainment industry operates, how they get you signing something so quickly before you even know what you're into, and who is at the ready to pounce. So the first thing that stuck out to me about all of this was when I saw that none other than Travis Scott, who we know is, I don't know if he's still being managed, but at least at the time of Astroworld was being managed by the same lady that was managing Britney Spears, Lou M. Taylor, who owns one of the biggest, probably the biggest, one of the biggest at least, sports and entertainment companies. So she manages a lot of very famous both entertainers and athletes. Now, I just want to mention that it's the athletes as well, so you guys can have an understanding of these kinds of people, just how much power they have, right? So the Travis Scott thing didn't surprise me because obviously Lou M. Taylor, the lady who, or as we were calling her, Lucifer for a while, and some people call her that on the internet. I didn't make that up. Somebody else said it to me, and I think in the comments, or I saw on somebody else's video. But yeah, anyway, don't want to take credit for something that's not mine. So we talked about her, and she's obviously besting buddies with Christiana, our favorite Wicked Witches of the West, right? She's obviously close friends with Christiana, another woman we know is very quick off, ready to pounce, right? Now, what actually happened with Tyla, you might be asking? Well, here's what actually has happened. So the way that they came to that collaboration, by the way, was that she was getting all these messages by people saying she should do a remix. And then he messaged her. She was like, as soon as she saw it was him, it has to be him because she loves what he does, which I don't know. Because Travis Scott to me seems like, anyway, I'm not going to comment on Travis Scott. I just don't see how anybody has any interest in anything that's going on with that man. But that's just me. Everybody's different. Everybody's entitled to live the life as they want, as they choose. What is even more interesting and important, I would say, is that she was bought out of her previous record label contract by Sony. Now, I want you guys to understand something that I've said kind of before. This is a machine. This is exactly, here I want you guys to understand why it's really difficult for people to go against the entertainment industry and just how powerful it is. Because obviously, let's see it happen all the time. We see it happen, everybody, when they become an artist. If you understand the entertainment industry, you know very well that you do not want to be signed to most of these labels, okay? You probably want to represent yourself. That's the preferred route, if possible. But what unfortunately happens is because we all see the glitz and the glam and the lifestyle of these people, we think, oh, I want to sign record labels so that I can be doing world tours and I can be this and I can be that. And we sign these contracts. Like, you guys already know that I have a lot to say about contracts because I say a lot about contracts on this channel. I have a lot to say about contracts. I have a lot to say because they are an important tool that the entertainment industry and just any corrupt situations use, institutions, use for us as humans to get us trapped in something that we cannot get out of. Because what I'm first of all thinking is, I wonder how these negotiations went down. Like, I'm truly curious to know how much time was spent, if she was aware of what the terms of her contract are, exactly what it will mean. Because as somebody said already, as soon as she now has this new contract and this new record label, she is now able to be doing all sorts of she's on all sorts of bigger stages now. They're absolutely immediately capitalizing off of her, what she can do right now. And that's what they do, guys. And it's funny what the gentleman said in this video, because it's like, of course they're going to be putting her everywhere because they're going to be quick to try and make back the money that they lost. And it's exactly the point, guys. It is just a business. Like, we are all just pieces on a chessboard to these people. Both us, the audience, and them, the celebrities, the famous people. How do we get you to give us more of your money? And this is what I think is actually crazy about the world, yeah, is that we've actually normalized a situation where we rely on somebody else to make money, and then we allow these other somebody else's to control or influence us so much as to how we spend the money. And so things like this, like when I discovered that people were paying $5,000 to go to see Beyonce, I thought, $5,000? From how people are talking about the times we're living in, it astounded me that people were giving up this amount of money for that at a time like this. I was really, truly bewildered by it. But then I realized, oh yeah, and Beyonce got paid, how much was it? 30 million, or I think it was 30 million for the 1 hour she did in Dubai. And you guys, and then we want to be like, oh, if there's suffering in the world, if God is real, why is there suffering in the world? Have you met human beings? Have you seen how we go about using our money? Have you seen what a slave we are to this game that we're playing in right now? Where we're all just pieces on the chessboard, right? Because what? Why? Because us investing in the entertainment industry is also what enables these guys to continue running around as these heinous people, these people, these vultures, right? And I'm not directly calling Sony Entertainment specifically at this current moment in time a vulture themselves. I'm using them as an example of just what is in the industry. We won't get into my thoughts on Sony today because frankly, I haven't done enough research to be able to tell you guys, right? But just as an example of this situation, it's these big labels. And again, I think the label that she was in, was it like affiliated? Was it? No, it was the label that Travis is in is affiliated with the label she's on now. I can't remember, guys. I can't remember. The point being is that this is the game that we're in. This is the game that we're in. We're in the game where we are, as humans, are struggling with so much. We're struggling in mental health. We're struggling in physical health. We're struggling in all these things. And somehow we have continued to put money and fuel into this machine called the entertainment industry, where we just waste money on seeing people. We waste money on, and I don't think it's a waste of money, by the way, guys, to go and support somebody that makes music, because I think that's what helps the world to go around, is that we all offer certain different types of things and it all benefits us all in some kind of way. That's why I genuinely look at somebody who's a performer as like the equivalent of somebody who, as like the jobs that I've done, like when I've worked in customer service, because everybody's doing something that's helping the community to go forward. If I'm working in a store and I come and I'm like scanning your items, packing the stuff, and I'm whatever, or I'm stocking shelves, guess what? That's so that the people can come and get stuff from the shelves. That's part of society. Just like how if I've been working super hard for some months or whatever, and there's an artist that I like to listen to and they have a concert and I only have to pay like, a reasonable amount for it, or even I just want to treat myself, that's fine, because that person, in order to be able to create that service for me, also has to be making money. So I'm not against the making of money in the industry. I'm against how we are the ones who continue to allow on all sides, when we ignore the truth of the industry, and we still support a lot of people anyway, right? That's a big part of the problem, because at the end of the day, they only have the money because we're spending it. That's why I always have this conflict of interest when it comes to supporting certain artists out there, because I feel like I'm not supporting them, I'm supporting the machine. I'm way quicker and happier to spend my money when I know it's going directly towards the person in any way, shape and form, or at least they're independent or something, because then at least like they are benefiting, because that's who you're paying for. Because that's the thing about it, is that in a lot of these instances, the amount of money you're paying, the reason why you're paying so much, like in life, I don't know if people have realized this in the world, but really, guys, did you know that anything can cost anything? Now, that sounds crazy and a bit of a vague statement to make, but I'm going to unpack it a little bit. Anything can cost anything. So essentially, if I start a shop, right, this is what I find fascinating about the world as well, and when people do and don't think about this. If I have a shop and I'm selling, let's say, let's say I'm going to sell cupcakes, right? I'm going to sell cupcakes from my shop. The reality is that whatever amount I decide to choose is whatever amount I decide to choose. At a certain point, if 50 people have paid that amount of money, so selling cupcakes could charge 10 people £10,000 for a cupcake. And at the same time, I can charge 10 other people 10p for a cupcake. The cupcake can actually cost whatever I decide for it to cost. So what these people do, which is what I'm trying to say here, we saw this with Britney Spears. All this money is coming in. This is why these business managers are obsessed with taking over everything. They do it like, oh, we're going to take over everything for you so that you don't have anything to worry about, so that you can be prepared in the best way possible, in the best way to move forward to what you have to do. And we're going to put you on stage and we're going to this. We're your savior. Well, actually, we now control you because we can control your money. Britney was getting, I think she said like $500 a month or something. I don't remember. This is back when we did the live testimonial, if you guys remember that. When she did the live, she spoke live. This was back then. She said about how much money she was getting. And so for us on the outside, there was a point in time where we were paying money, people were paying money to go to see Britney Spears, and they were paying money to go to see Britney Spears, when in reality they were putting money in Lou M. Taylor's pocket, is what they were doing. Lou M. Taylor was gaining riches so that she could continue what she's doing, so that one day when Tyla becomes popular, there's Travis Scott, her other little minion, right? Let's go capitalize off of her as well. Now, I'm not saying that that's what Lou M. Taylor actually did. I'm using these people who are in these actual positions to give you guys ways you can see how this stuff happens, and how we, the society, those of us watching this stuff, how do we contribute to all this stuff that I'm talking about? We are the ones who then say, hey, I'm going to keep putting money into this industry. I'm going to keep supporting what these lot are doing while saying that I'm against it, but still putting money into it. It doesn't really make sense, but I'm still going to do it anyway, even though I'm knowing that it doesn't really make sense. And guess what? They love that. This is one thing I don't think people realize. The kingdom of darkness is so happy for you to continue. Like, the devil is a true, man of torture. Like, as long as he gets what he wants on the other side, he doesn't care if you're kicking and screaming. He doesn't care if you don't like it. He doesn't care if you're complaining. He doesn't care if he hurt you. All he cares about is, am I getting what I came for? That's comes straight from the pits of hell, that type of thinking. It's the same with these people. They don't care that you're saying, oh, even with the Travis Scott situation, let's talk about that. Travis Scott actually gained following and stuff at that time, when the whole Astroworld situation went down, where people real life died, and there was some serious media cleansing that was going on. And again, I find it so fascinating, once again, and this is how you know the power that these people have, that when it came down to Travis Scott and the fact that there was an overwhelming amount of people who were there saying what they're saying on the news isn't what really happened. There were more deaths, there was this, there was that. Look at how well they cleaned the internet. Look at how hard it was at the time to be able to find the videos that people were putting up, because people were being shut down. And who is one of the most well-known people to be involved in corruption, who is the quickest to get videos about them shut down? Lou M. Taylor. So many of these people who've spoken about Lou M. Taylor have been shut down. When they want to make something out there for everybody to know, right? Everything is everywhere. Everything is going viral, right? Kris Jenner is the perfect example. She thought of the perfect method, right? Isn't she another one who calls TMZ? Britney Spears' dad used to call TMZ, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Who calls TMZ? Like, who does that? Like, this is like why I think about the royal family in England. I think really they have the media. And the media goes and has like a party there, I think like every Christmas or something. The media in like Buckingham Palace or something. And is it Buckingham Palace? I don't know which palace it is. How are you that cool with the media? The media that we're so called just wants just these paparazzi, just this press. No, guys. No, this is an organized thing. They know exactly what they're doing. And we are just here to be the pawns in the game. All of us, the celebrities and us, the famous people and us. We are the chess pieces being played. And they are raking in the money because, again, it should be considered absurd to us as logical human beings to pay 5,000 to go to see somebody singing on stage. That should be absurd. Absurd. Excuse me. Every time it comes to English, I just can't do language, guys. I don't know why. It should be, but is it? No, because you know why it isn't? It isn't as soon as somebody does it. As soon as somebody does it, and then as soon as enough people doing it, and then guess what? There's me, right? Let's go back to my cupcake analogy, right? If I'm selling these cupcakes, and the 10 that I've sold 10 for 10p, and I've sold 10 for 10,000. Now, let's say that the cost it actually costs me to make these cupcakes is £1. Let's say it costs me £1, right? So in the situation, if you're the cupcake A people, you are better off because I'm charging you less than I even paid. You're getting a good, sweet deal. You couldn't go and take the money and go and make your own and turn out with this because I'm making a 90 pence loss. Did I say a pound? No, did I say a pound? How much did I say? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. On the other side, we've got the 10,000 people. I am making 9,999 in profits over there. I'm making, do you see what I'm saying? And so if I'm smart enough as a business owner to find a way, and this is where there is no morals in this types of things with these people. Let me tell you guys when I realized this for real life. When I worked in McDonald's, I worked in McDonald's as my first job, and I thank God for that because it taught me so much about the world working there. I'm 16. I was being paid, I think, £3.41 an hour or something like that. Or it was either £3.15 or £3.41. I can't remember. £3 something per hour. Horror show. That's how much money I was being paid. And I, at the end of the day, will be taking my till because we used to have to count all the cash in the till at the end of the day. So I've counted like 1,000. I've counted so much money in this till. And I haven't even taken into account how much money was in card payments. And somehow I've walked away making like £3.41 an hour. How the hell? And so when I saw that and I was there at work and I was thinking, I get it now. I actually get it now. You actually can do this. I understood the world we live in. I understood that this is the world we live in, a world where if you are ignorant enough and somebody else is serious enough, they can weaponize your ignorance and they can weaponize you. You can show up every day because guess what? Whoever's making the decision for that £3.41, they're not there. They're not there for me to talk, to be held accountable for. They're somewhere inaccessible, right? That's why even when you talk about these big corporations and these big record labels, have you noticed how there's never a person to go to directly? Have you noticed that? The difference is with artists when they represent themselves is that now all of the fans and everyone is going to come directly to you. They can hold you accountable, which is another reason why I think can be a bit of benefit. But then let's talk about how it can be of a disadvantage. Because right now we're seeing a situation with Jessie Nelson where she obviously left the industry. Was she also with Sony, come to think of it? Because if she was, then with Sony. But she was with Little Mix. Now, because she is no longer part of the label, when we were talking about all that stuff to do with her and Leanne and whatnot, what I find interesting that's sticking out to me right now is the fact that then there was always this thing, and even I said it, of we don't know who is doing what behind the scenes. We don't know if there are labels and PR people and stuff involved. Now, because Jessie has separated herself and she's now independent, everything that anybody has to say is going directly to her. And so for that reason, it's actually making it more difficult, in a way, to be independent again, because now the people who are being played anyway are going to go directly to you as a person. So, for example, somebody like Jessie, who a lot of her fandom are not very happy that she's not really releasing stuff when they know she has stuff, right? But here's the other thing. The glaringly obvious thing is that she is facing a monster. She is facing a monster. She, in releasing her music, it isn't as just simple as releasing her music. The reason why the monster functions so well is because the monster covers everything. It controls everything. So when you're in there, you can be somebody like Tyla and like in the blink of an eye, be on every stage everywhere, right? When you're an independent, where does that come from? People are coming directly to you. And then if you try to go against that, you're severely outnumbered. And this is how they maintain their power. They maintain their power by continually being the big bully. You know, like when you have like in some, I always talk about this as settings of bullying or even fighting. It's one thing to fight with somebody and they beat you, but why is it that we have established, even in things like the UFC and fighting, MMA and all this stuff, why do people have certain weights that they fight at? Let's think about that. You have to be a certain weight because it's to level the playing field for the fight, to make sure that there's not just a big guy that sits on the little guy. Yeah, these entertainment industry companies, they are the big guys sitting on the little guy. You feel me? And so that's just another thing that we have to acknowledge. So again, this is why, guys, I think it's really important for us to not just know about the world we live in, but kind of live in your morals as well and be very, as in, for me, I can't really engage in a certain type of way with a lot of what's going on out there, just simply because of everything that I'm saying to you guys right now. Simply because I'm looking at it like, how can I feel bad now. Well, I don't feel bad because I didn't know, but think about it. How many people were going out there buying, at least for me, when I used to listen to like Britney Spears' music and stuff, thinking you're like supporting the person, but you're just supporting the machine. And meanwhile, look at what Britney was going through the past 15 years. And you thought you were actually supporting the person. Like, can we actually... I want us to let us become a society that doesn't do stuff. Let's be a society that doesn't try to find excuses with these types of things. You know what I'm saying? Even the situation with R. Kelly is another further proof. People wanted to say, oh, well, we want to separate the artist from the music and the artist from the music, as some people were saying, right? But the fact is the music is making money. So even if, isn't that funny that the attitude of us people, once again, we're still being played. Because R. Kelly ends up wherever he ends up, if he's got these contracts, the death contract, the death clause, as I heard somebody call it, in some of these contracts, as long as they can take over the music after you die or you whatever anyway, or they've got control, then they don't really care where you end up, as long as you've done a good enough body of work that they can just get as much money from you as possible. That's why I even saw somebody was talking about the death clause in these and how certain people just so happened to die around the time when they were technically on a financial sense, more valuable dead than alive to some folks out there, because that's how it ends up. It gets to the point where, like, for example, now with Michael Jackson, if you think about it, right? Michael Jackson's music, when we get these artists that are considered, you know, like timeless or really like well-known or whatever, people still listen to Michael Jackson now. Michael Jackson's long dead. So who's making that money, right? Who is really making that money? And this is why I think that people need to really wake up to the industry that you're dealing with. And it reminds me of like, you know, when you watch TV shows, or at least I noticed this, and there'll be like a situation where I immediately think of Keanu Reeves. It's so funny. Where you have like two different people that are against each other for whatever reason, two groups of people. And it'll be the types of ones where people like shooting, right? And one person will pull up to the ops to be like, okay, what's going on? I've heard you've been saying something, whatever, like, let's talk, let's do it. And they'll be having all these back and forths. One thing that I find fascinating is a lot of times like the quote unquote evil side or the bad guys, as soon as it suits them, will just kill their own people. They don't have a second thought other than to just kill. I saw this happen in the Spider-Verse movie. In the am I giving away a spoiler? It's ironic that I'm talking about the Spider-Verse movie because it's a movie that was by Sony. And oh my gosh, because Sony partnered with Marvel to do this combination. Oh gosh, this is perfect. I have to spoil it now because it's just ironic that we're talking about Sony and the entertainment industry and how they behave. And then this is what they did. So in the show, the Prowler turns out to be Miles Morales' uncle, okay? Now, what happens is Miles Morales and his uncle don't realize that they are both on opposite teams, that Miles is Spider-Man, and that his uncle is the Prowler. Obviously, the Prowler who works for Kingpin. So what happened? Well, in the moment when the Prowler could have killed Spider-Man, Miles reveals his face and his uncle sees that, oh my gosh, this is my nephew. Immediately, when he hesitated, Kingpin shot him dead. Immediately. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. The second when you're dealing with these types of people, the second you are not just the piece, the chess piece on the board that they're moving, you're done. Like, there is no delaying. There is no like, oh, we're going to let you talk and then we're going to hear. No, there is no let's hear your story. They don't care about you. You're done. You're done. That's all you need to know. You're done. And he shot him. And I see it. You see it happen all the time. Where at the end, and it's always, I love it how it happens when you'll have like the guys, the guys that work for the minions. I don't know why I always use the term minions, but like the minions that work for like the evil dude and something. And they'll like spend the show, like they'll have little scenes of them discussing what they're going to do when they get paid the money that they're getting paid for this job, which already is like a really small amount in comparison to how much the boss is making, but still fair enough for you to just get that money and get it. Good for you. And all to be at the final moment when the job is done and they're relieved and they're looking forward to finally spending the money. They get shot. They get killed. Like, and then the boss is like, you thought I was going to leave you alive when you could go and tell about me. I'm in this for myself. I'm in this to protect myself, homie. I don't know about you. You just another piece of exactly. And think about it like that. If we're to think about it like that, is it not even more of an incentive for the entertainment industry to eventually get you into a state where you can't speak up on what you've been through, whether that be through killing, whether that be through drugs, right? Whether that an addiction, whether that be through getting you to have some kind of diagnosis, because we see this happening now, even with somebody like Kanye West, for example, how now it's perfect. Whoever thought to make sure that he got some kind of diagnosis, it's perfect because now the world looks at him through the lens of that, which has completely devalued for a lot of people everything else he says. And so no matter what he says, no matter if it's truthful or not, a lot of people can just say, oh, well, he's having one of his manic episodes. Isn't that genius? It's one of the genius things that the Kingdom of Darkness is doing, right now. And people are really running to these titles. I'm not so sure you want to run to those titles because sometimes if you have an enemy and your enemy arises against you, all they have to do is play the she's crazy card. She's not taking her meds, right? This is how people get into conservatorships. This is how Britney ended up in a conservatorship, right? Oh, she can't look after herself. She's saying crazy things. Yeah, I know. Who could say this about their parent? Oh, who could do this? No, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly why it's important. That's exactly why it's important, you guys. And so I just think that it's so interesting that this is the world that we live in. I find it so interesting that this life that people are so looking up to, that sounds amazing, of being famous, of having riches and power and fame and being beautiful and having this, 10 million followers, is literally the lion's den. It is the lion's den. These people are in the lion's den. They are pawns in the game. And the only people who survive this are those who decide they're enjoying it. Those are the people who've actually sold their souls. Those are the people who've actually, I like this now. This is who I am, a Wicked Witch of the West. Jada Pinkett Smith calling her band Wicked Wisdom. Like, how much more bold do you have to be about what you're doing? That is where those are the other people. That's why Jada can be sitting there looking, laughing, joking. Why do you think she can sit there? Because she's chosen her side and she's enjoying it now. She's just like, cool, you're going to be upset? Who cares? I'm only here for me anyway. Only here for me anyway. Oh, let's write a book. Let's just say whatever. Who cares? Who cares? And that's the point, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, I hope that this all works out for Tyla anyways. I don't wish anything bad. I hope that's very clear. I hope no one ever thinks I'm like hoping for the worst. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping to be wrong. And I'm hoping that Sony and all these other, I'm hoping they're going to do her well. And this is the moment they've decided to turn the corner or whatever, or that she knew in her, because I don't obviously know what the negotiations were. I'm just using this situation as a reason to bring up something I haven't talked about in ages that a lot of you guys actually subscribe to my channel for, which is me talking about the entertainment industry and just showing you guys some of the things that we need to consider, like as far as when we see things happening, what's really going on. Because I think that, I don't know, there's something in the air at the moment with just, I think, a need for the importance of seeing things for what they really are at every point in preparation for whatever is going on. You know what I'm saying? And I think power, money, fame, it's that classic, you know, what did I say I was going to call it? The temptation trio of the kingdom of darkness, right? That we love. I should call it the temptation trinity. The temptation trinity, because that in and of itself is the thing that keeps that we need to be aware of these types of things, so that these things don't turn out to be as much as we love. And I say that also because who knows, one day somebody who's about to upload a video to TikTok or is about to upload a song or whatever sees one of my videos and is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I learned this. So I at least have some wisdom going into this. I at least remember to double check the contract. I at least, you know, give myself time, maybe seek legal advice. You know what I'm saying? About this contract. You know what I'm saying? Like take it to your own lawyers or something like that, because that's what I would recommend a lot of people doing. If you're genuinely facing a potentially amazing opportunity and contract, those are the types of things where even if you have to spend money on a lawyer, in the future, you will be so glad you spent that money. That might go down in history as the best amount of money you ever spent, realizing that you cannot sign that contract. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that, anyways, like I said, these are all ifs, buts, maybes. We don't know. I don't know what's in Tyla's contract. I'm wishing her the best. Can't tell you whoever the person was that sat with her definitely had bad intentions. What I can say is some things that I've noticed about the entertainment industry as a whole, and some things that I think we should all be thinking about with this whole thing and how this monster of Hollyweird actually operates. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. I hope you're enjoying it. If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless every single one of you guys watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.